The next slide deck. There we go. Okay, I need to make this bigger so I can see it. All right, I had to switch views, everybody. Welcome to our February 19th Continuum of Care, everybody. I'm so excited to have you here today. We have all kinds of exciting agenda items as always. As part of welcome and introductions, I want to make sure you all remember, and I think probably Zuli listed it in the chat already, to make sure that you sign in. If you're a voting member, it's really important because we need to have a quorum to be able to take action. We do have an action item on agenda today. So while that is happening, I love to jump into agenda item 1.1. Well, not the roll call, but 1.2, new members. And we have a new member, which you achieve. Anybody can come to the table to be a member. And we have My Baby, My Way Foundation. Do we have anybody from My Baby, My Way Foundation today in the house? I love the name of it. It's really super cool. Anybody? Okay, well, we can all give them a warm welcome. And then new voting member, you can participate in 3 consecutive meetings after you've filled out an application to become a member. You want to become a voting member, 3 consecutive meetings. And we have with us a new voting member, ClearPath Foundation. Anybody from ClearPath on with us today?
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Caden Young. I'm the Chief Administrative Officer for ClearPath Foundation.
Great. Tell us a little bit about your organization.
Sure. We are a nonprofit that focuses on the homeless population, and we pretty much work with hospitals upon the patients being discharged, and we provide transitional housing for them to recuperate from whatever their issues may be, as well as helping them find permanent housing afterwards.
So transitional housing, not post-hospital recuperative care, is that right?
Both. So
okay.
Within the transitional housing, it incorporates the recuperative care, short-term post-hospitalization.
Awesome. And where do you have transitional housing units located?
We have a couple facilities in Riverside County and another 2 in San Bernardino County.
Okay. Is it like desert
area.
region, southwest, western, as far as for Riverside County? What regions? Just so everybody has an idea.
We have a facility right by UC Riverside in the Hilltop area. And then we have another one closer to the 91 near Lake Matthews.
Okay.
And then the 2 we have in the desert both are in Hesperia at the moment.
Well, it's certainly a big need. Looks like Michelle, you had a question about that?
Yeah, just welcome to the COC. And how would agencies be able to refer clients to your program?
I can drop in my contact information, and you could refer the patients to us. Primarily at the moment, we work directly with Inland Empire Health Plan, Kaiser, and Molina. However, if you have a patient under one of those 3, they have a priority. However, we will try to accommodate as many people as we can. I believe at the moment, we're maybe only 1 spot is available at the moment, but we have we have a revolving capacity of 2 to 3 vacancies open. But yeah, feel free to send over any referral, and then we'll definitely take a look into it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes, we'd love to have more members of the table. We want to do what we can to work together to leverage resources, make sure we're not duplicating effort, and serve as many people as possible. So thank you so much. Was there looks like we've got a related question, James and then Mark.
Quick question. I want to know what is the response time? Should I call as soon as we have a patient who is unhoused, or should we wait until we're closer to discharge?
I would recommend waiting closer to discharge. But prior to that, if you could send the information prior, so that way we can check with the health plans, because we do need an authorization from their health plan prior to our admittance. So if you can send us the information, we can work with you guys as well as work with the health plan to acquire the authorization.
Okay, looks like that the person didn't have a question. Okay, so someone is on that needs to mute themselves. If you can, we can hear you talking on the phone. Sorry. Thank you. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the next agenda item. Okay, at this time, the Continuum of Care can entertain comments from the public for matters that are not on agenda. Speakers have up to 3 minutes to speak. Zuli, did we receive any written comments from the public?
No, we did not.
Do we have any members of the public that would like to address the Continuum of Care? If so, please raise your hand. Okay, somebody named Michelle Davis. All right, what do you got, Miss Michelle Davis?
Sorry. I just want to make everybody aware that the city of Riverside works with a lot of our partners that are serving the TAY population, the 18 to 24. We do case conferencing every 2 weeks because we have shelter and rental assistance available for individuals to help them exit the streets. So if you are not participating in our case management and you're serving that population, please shoot me an email so we can make sure that you're invited to those case conferencing meetings and can tap into those resources. So I will put my email in the chat box and appreciate all your guys' collaboration and the great work that you guys are doing in the Continuum of Care.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. All right, Karen Younglow. Hello, Miss Karen.
Sorry, I'm not muted. Hello. Hello. I hope that I'm not speaking at the incorrect time. So if I am, Madam Chair, please forgive me. I just wanted to say thank you to you and to Tanya Torno and to the entire Riverside COC for providing a letter of support for Lighthouse for our upcoming SSVF renewal application. Very much appreciate you guys getting that to us, and we'll keep you posted. Fingers crossed. I think that we'll get funded, but I just wanted to thank the Continuum for that.
Well, as the chair, it's one of my most favorite things to do is to sign letters of support. We're always super excited to bring more resources into the region. You guys are stellar superstars, Karen. So, you know, we love everything that you guys do at so many levels in serving the community. So thank you. And I know you serve 2 counties as well.
Mm-hmm. We do.
So,
yeah, we were able to get we also have a letter from San Bernardino. So I'll be thanking them at the end of the month. But I just wanted to make sure that we said thank you to you guys.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Okay. Lorenzo, did you have a public comment?
Hi, Madam Chair. How are you today? I want to also ask if this would be the appropriate time. I did come across a resource that I think would be beneficial to a lot of individuals, families that might need dental care. There is a school out in Ontario that provides free dental cleaning, screenings, x-rays, and it's all completely at free cost. I emailed the flyer to the COC, but I was also recommended to go ahead and provide the resource at this meeting. I just don't know if this would be the appropriate time.
That's fine. Usually we do something like that under announcements, but it's totally fine. And I think it's great. The more that we can be proactive to share resources, the better. So thank you so much for doing that. We really appreciate it. Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat as well.
That sounds good. Thank you. Okay, Mark, did you have a public comment?
I'm not sure, again, if this is the right time to do this or not, but we just wanted to introduce ourselves to you. I'm Mark with Operation Grace, and we operate out of San Bernardino and operate San Bernardino County. We provide housing transition, especially for senior citizens. And like the gentleman that was speaking of the services they offer, we pretty much offer the same services as well. And what we've been wanting to do for some time now is to get our foot in with the Riverside COC. And so this is why we're attending the meeting and going to be diligently attending these meetings so we can be part of what's going on in Riverside. The two of the other case managers that are on with us, we all live in the Riverside County area. And so we want to see and be more involved with what's going on in Riverside County.
Well, Mark, just so you know, our table is big. There's plenty enough room at the table. We welcome every
Awesome.
partner that wants to come and join us. And, when you have, whether it's neighboring cities or neighboring counties, it's so important to have cross participation and collaboration, just because we know sometimes we end up having mutual clients. And so, and it's just, there's strength to be able to have that cross collaboration. So we welcome it. So, thank you so much. And everybody that's here, we just ask you to continue to invite others to join us. Like I said, the table is big. So Lee, hey Lee, love to hear from you.
All right, sorry, I was having technical difficulties. The question is for Mark, whether or not he also serves the 290 population.
Let me get clarification on that for you.
Okay, yeah, just drop it in the chat. Thank you.
Will do.
And for those that aren't sure what that is, a 290 is a registered sex offender, and there are different levels of those that have sex offenses. Sometimes it could be as low level as urinating in public to other types of offenses, and a lot of times because of requirements and congregate shelter, people don't always have access to resources. So Lee, I'm so glad that you asked about that, because when we're looking at reintegration and wanting to provide people with solutions to get them off of the street, sometimes we have to talk about the things that are sometimes difficult to talk about. So Lee, you guys do such a great job bringing these tough issues to the surface. Thank you. Continue to be vigilant.
Thank you, Karen. I appreciate those kind words. And yes, without a doubt, we're gonna keep on asking those tough questions. Thank you so much.
We need to. We absolutely need to. Okay. Anybody else that would like to make a public comment? Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next agenda item. Okay, United Way Leadership Spotlight. So first of all, I wanted to back up a minute. Rebecca, are you on here with us?
I am.
So Rebecca, I just wanted to thank you for being so proactive to reach out to Tanya and myself. I know you were the catalyst for this presentation. You do a great job in the space that you work in, and we're just so thankful that you made this suggestion and that we have this opportunity to conduct a leadership spotlight. You guys know, as the chair, it's one of my favorite things to do. We have so many amazing leaders, and there's some really cool things that are happening at Inland Southern California United Way.
Yes.
And so what I'm going to do now is I would like to read a short bio for Christopher Darby. He is the Executive Director of Impact for United Way. And so he's going to conduct the presentation, but I did want to give that little shout out to Rebecca, because she was the catalyst to bring this presentation forward to us. So
thanks, Karen.
You're welcome, my dear. We love you. Chris Darby is the Executive Director of Impact for Inland Southern California United Way and 211. He has over 9 years of experience in nonprofit leadership. He holds a master's degree in public health and specializes in data management, program design, and evaluation. Chris is a strong believer in servant leadership, one of my favorite things, and works to build internal programs and enhance United Way's impact on the communities they serve. Chris enjoys spending a night at home watching Netflix with his wife and 3 kids. Oh my gosh, what a great thing to add to your bio. I love it. Chris, we'd love to welcome you to conduct your presentation. The floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Karen. And Zuli, do I share my screen, or will you be going through the presentation?
I have the presentation here for you. I can go through it.
Great. Great. So I just wanted to start off. So like Karen mentioned, my name's Chris Darby. I'm with Inland South Cal United Way and 211. I've been with the organization for 9 years, as was mentioned, and I actually am an alumni of California Baptist University, so within the Riverside region. And but really looking at it, an intro to our organization, our mission in Inland Southern California United Way is to unite people, ideas, and resources to empower our community and improve lives. And we really have a vision of and envision a caring community, an extraordinary place to live, learn, work, and grow. And we work towards this by championing community resilience, financial security, and health for all people in the Southern California region. And we really value the 3 E's, which is excellence, equity, and empathy. And so what I wanted to do is, I know some of it was take a look back of where we were or what we were, and looking forward to what we have coming up. And so really I wanted to share kind of the inception. So 211 is all across the nation into Canada. And so 211 is that dialing code where you dial 211 and you can get connected to an information referral hotline. So the first 24-hour information referral actually started in Atlanta in 1993. And then in 1997, that's when they provided the 211 dialing code, where it can be used. It's here in California, it's allocated by the CPUC, so the California Public Utilities Commission, who would assign that 211 dialing code. So at our contact center, our first call actually came from San Bernardino County in 2006 from a board of supervisor. And then in 2020, as we all loved that year through COVID, we decided to merge, and we merged the 211 in San Bernardino at that time with the 211 in Riverside, creating a larger Inland SoCal United Way and 211 Plus. In 2023, and I'm going to share more on this to come up, we started our work with the Data Exchange Framework, and that's in partnership with over 9 different United Ways across the state of California. And then in 2024, we actually, at the very end of 2024, actually started working on our process within Riverside County's integrated service delivery. And then also this year, we jumped in and we started doing lean processing with simpler IBM. And so I will share on these in the upcoming slides. So if we can go to the next one. So just a general, if you don't know what 211 is, we have this video. Sometimes it plays on some people's PowerPoint, sometimes it doesn't, but you can always look this up on YouTube if you'd like to take a look. But this video is a PSA. There it is. It just came up. So I think you should be able to play it, Zuli.
I'm gonna stop sharing it and share it again just so I can turn on the audio. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for help with food, healthcare, and other resources.
211, how can I help you?
Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211, get connected, get help.
So you'll see that at the end of that, it said United Way of Lake County, but actually that was the PSA that went across all the United States. So they would do this PSA on different channels through radio channels, and it was to encourage people to call 211. And this was during COVID, but really it points the picture of 211 wanting to be that guiding light. So identifying resources that the community might need and connecting them to services that can assist them. Let's go to the next slide.
Times get dark.
So really looking at this slide, I wanted to share that within our organization, information and referral for 211 is still at the center of a lot of what we do. So the 211 dialing code, people can call in there, but we added additional services around that information and referral, such as, emergency preparedness and response. We collected a lot of community data. We have a program for 211 careers for those who were previously justice involved. We do enrollment into CalFresh and other different programs. In San Bernardino County, we are the CE admin, so that's why that one's there. I know it's much different in Riverside County, but we've also, and Rebecca was mentioned earlier, Rebecca led a program around rental assistance for quite some time. So we were able to have information and referral at the center and build programs around it. Within our contact center, we have over 25 community resource advisors, 3 database curators, and the curators are the ones that are calling, trying to update the information in our resource database to use when we're on calls with clients. And it's also available on our public-facing website. We're Inform USA accredited, which is the national accrediting body for information referral. And we also hold AAS accreditation, which is the American Association of Suicidology. Go to the next slide there. So now I want to talk about what to see into the future and what's coming up. So at the very end of 2024, Inland SoCal 211 Plus started work with integrated service delivery in Riverside County. I know this has been talked about on a lot of different meetings, and I think a lot of people in Riverside County are very familiar with that term now. But really what we're doing is we're partnering with the Office of Service Integration. And what we're trying to do is make 211 as an ISD doorway. So all of you in the housing field know the no wrong door approach, all those things. Same thing when it comes to services. There shouldn't be a wrong door for any service you're trying to access. And 211 should be one of those doorways. And we are the primary point or resource referral. So 211 has been providing resource referrals for years, well over 20 years of resource and referral being conducted within the inland region. So it makes sense to have 211 as a primary point for resource referrals. Under this work with ISD, 211 will provide whole person health score assessments. So that's the health score assessments conducted or created through RUHS. And we'll be doing those assessments in through 211. We'll also be doing client advocacy, so and also warm handoffs. In the past, 211 would just provide a phone number, right? So, hey, here, call Karen. Karen can help you, right? That's how we would do it there. But now it's going to be more of, as we work through this process, hey, here's this client, let me warm hand them off to the next person after we've conducted our assessment. And now it'll be more of a warm handoff process with their consent to do so. We're also going to be providing closed loop referral feedback. So working with Riverside County Systems to really do a closed loop referral feedback system to know when people are actually receiving services. And then the bottom one I'm going to share a little bit more about, which is data sharing and technology integration. So we really want to look at integration, and that really aligned with the work we're doing around data exchange framework. So if you go to the next slide, you'll see this very confusing slide, but I really want to share this. This is a United Ways of California slide. So this isn't one that I designed, but I really wanted to use this to share with you all. And especially some of you here know that in Orange County, the United Way there and the 211 there is actually the HMIS administrators. So they've been working on some of that work over there to connect their systems to HMIS and to all these other different systems. So what we've done as a United Way network across the state is we're looking at the data exchange framework that the state has put forward. And so you'll see in the blue section, right here in the middle of it, you'll see one of those key populations of focus there on the second or third square, depending on how you're looking at it, is people experiencing homelessness. We realize this is a large issue. In the 211, 40 to 50% of our calls every day are regarding housing or homelessness. So we know that this is a big issue. So this is one of those first areas we would like to address through the data exchange framework as a group across the state of California, right? Working with Orange County, working with our Inland SoCal United Way and several other United Ways across the state to create that data exchange framework that has been talked about for years with technology systems to really assist people experiencing homelessness. So we've decided as a network across the state that one of the first things we need to focus on is a referral-based system for people experiencing homelessness. And that's where the data exchange is going to come in, to be able to integrate that data and pass that data back and forth. And that's where you'll see that green line, and a lot of important things for different United Ways across the state is really connecting with the COCs. You'll see that on the right side of that. But there's some key terms to think about. So some of you may know what a QHIO is. That's your Qualified Health Information Organization. And in our region, that's Inland Empire Health Information Organization. What they are is they share data across healthcare platforms. And then 211 is what the state calls a non-QHIO intermediary, not necessarily a CBO, but when you're talking about data exchange, 211 is considered a non-QHIO intermediary allowed to pass data back and forth by their definition. So some very important data that allows 211 to be one of those entities that shares data to be able to work on closing the loop for people experiencing homelessness, not necessarily those that are HUD definition of homelessness, but others who may have other needs outside of HUD's definition of homelessness. So looking at that, I want to just go to the next slide. I know I'm unpacking a lot here in 10 minutes, but I did want to share this as well. This is where our 211 is going. This was a press release through Software One. And if you know what Software One is, it's the telephony platform that is operated that Amazon uses. So it connects with AWS and other service platforms. So 211 is enhancing the technology to better serve the clients within the inland Southern California region, including Riverside and the COC. So all this work, really what it's going to do is what we really want to do is knock down silos that are happening and be able to really share information and integrate our work that we're doing at 211 with several different Riverside County agencies and departments, and then also add some of those processes that RUHS and the county have already identified as solid processes when we're really assessing those within the community. So hopefully I stayed within the 10 minutes. Karen, you could yell at me if you need to, but my
You're
contact
fine.
information is on the next slide there. Oh, how can you help? That's important. So there's several ways that you can help. But one of the main things is making sure information's updated in our database. So that is definitely something that we need to make sure is updated. So if each of your agencies have the opportunity, please go to our database. You'll see the address at the top line there in the black, inlandsocaliuw.org/211. And you can actually click on this link and update or add your agency's information into our database. That helps us make sure that the resource information is up to date and accurate. Sorry, that is it. And my contact information is there.
Do we have any questions?
No,
Well, Ayoko, yes, please.
yes, hello, Chris. Thank you for this wonderful presentation. Yes, in one of your diagrams, you had a section of priority populations.
Mhm.
And I was wondering if you had older adults and disabled as priority populations.
That's a great question. So I would absolutely like to answer that. So that is not something that United Way or those identified as populations of focus. So those populations of focus that are identified in that graphic actually come straight from the data exchange framework that they're trying to build. So those are what they've identified at the state level as populations of focus. So I'd have to read through. It's like a 79-page document. It's a large document, but I'll check and see if anything is mentioning on that document talking about aging population.
And you know what, Ayoko, you brought something up that's important because you're in the aging industry, and I actually used to oversee an office on aging, and there are information and assistance call centers at each of the area agencies on aging. So in Riverside, there's the Riverside Office on Aging, and I know back when I worked in Orange County, there was a lot of discussion about what's the difference between what the Office on Aging call center does versus 211. And is there overlap, and how does that work? And I think that that same could be said about how will this work in terms of integration and collaboration with Home Connect, right? Because that's another line that people call. So I think there's probably a lot more opportunities to discuss collaboration and integration with other call center lines.
Yeah.
Would you agree, Christopher?
Absolutely. And Karen, you make a great point because in San Bernardino County, we actually operate the ADRC as a 211.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
a little bit different from county to county, but we do, it's similar work, but I think the ADRC through time has been more of a really hands-on, more of a case coordination, enhanced information referral versus information referral, and also has its own accreditation or certification through Inform USA. So there is a lot there and absolutely more to discuss, but I agree with you 100%, Karen.
Yeah, well, and you're moving from INR to warm handoff, which is great because that was a big missing element for information and referral call center lines. So I love to see that that's happening. And I think you may have mentioned it, but I just want to make sure. I think you guys use the language line so you can communicate in any language for a caller, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. But so Ioka, I agree with you, that the whole issue and focus on aging. And, we were recently at a summit, and Tanya, wasn't it Barry from Adult Services was talking about, and we know this, the age tsunami is upon us. So we want to make sure that we're ever focused on that particular issue. Tanya, did you have a comment and question? And then Sheila after Tanya. Oh,
Thank you.
Shalina. I'm sorry, Shalina. Forgive me.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Miss Tanya.
Thank you. Really, I just wanted to say thank you to Christopher and Rebecca, who, again, as Karen expressed, really encouraged this conversation to happen. Of course, I love hearing that we're working together. And I think one of the other conversations that we had as part of our larger integrated service delivery efforts is, how can we better share information just between CES and United Way, so that whether it's individuals calling into the hotline can either be directly funneled to somebody on the other end on our Home Connect hotline, but that also that those referrals are tracked in our system, so that when we report out and we talk about the level of need in Riverside County, and particularly the numbers that we highlight in HMIS, that we can tell the full story and really speak to those that are serviced or assisted through 211. So we'll follow up with you, I think, after this call, to just figure out how we connect those dots. Just wanted to, once again, thank you to 211. We know that you guys are a critical partner in this work.
Thank you, Ms. Tanya. Shalina, I love your name, by the way. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I'm from Operation Grace, case manager. My question is for Chris as the team as a community and nonprofit. How is it we can better collaborate with Riverside?
Is she cutting out only on my end? Because she was cutting out for me.
Yeah, I was trying to hear it too, so I was hoping somebody caught it, but
yeah. Can you put it in the chat, Shalina, just so that we can make sure too, because you're cutting out a little bit, and we want to make sure we do a good job hearing what your question is.
Okay.
Try it again and see if it doesn't cut out. Let's see.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying how is that the team, how we could do better to collaborate with you guys in San Bernardino to Riverside, the homeless situation.
So it sounds like and correct me if I'm wrong, Shalina, because it sounds like you're asking how we can collaborate not only in Riverside, but also San Bernardino County. Is that what it is? Yeah, so I think I know in San Bernardino County, when we're talking about it, we work closely with, Operation Grace and those there as the C administrators. Your former, I think, CEO was even the COC chair in San Bernardino County. So we got to interact with Jessica quite a bit. So, but when really looking at it, I think that as an Inland SoCal 211, we operate in both counties, so that to us and to many of our callers and even to some of our agents, that imaginary line doesn't exist, right? And so we all have this we have this line where we just have to operate. But as 211, I mean, I know it because if you're in Grand Terrace, you can easily cross over into Riverside and be into a separate county. And then I know there may be food services in Riverside right across that imaginary line that they can access. So as a 211, we're trying to work where can they get the services closest to them? But we have to know what those eligibility requirements are. I'm not going to send them to Mark. I'm sorry, you're on my screen, so I'm going to use you as an example. I'm not going to send them to Mark if he's, 200 miles away when something can assist them closer. And then I'm also not going to send him to Mark if he's only allowed or through budget limitations or grant limitations to service San Bernardino County. So the only way we can do that is through collaboration and knowing exactly what your services are being provided and what's the eligibility of those services. And then we also know, is this referral that can even come from 211, or do they have to go through and through the, as you said, Home Connect? Maybe only some of you receive referrals only through Home Connect. We need to know that, because if not, we're going to continue to see that and know that. So that's why I say updating information is so important. And then also knowing what services are available are super important. And then knowing which counties, if you're looking at it from a county perspective, how we can, if it's limited to certain areas. So hopefully that answers the question.
Shalita, do me a favor and give Jessica a shout out. I owe her a call back. She's wonderful. So just let her know Karen Roper sends hugs and I will be calling her.
Will do.
Yeah, thank you. And we're so happy to have you join us.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Before we move on, I'll make one last final thing. Christopher, you know, in the early days, I can remember when the FCC first established 211 and the CPUC approved it. And, you know, there was discussions about the unique differences between 411, 911, and 211. And 411 and 911 are self-sustaining because of fees associated with the calls. And I know 211's across, you know, the state, when we were talking about this as a collaborative back when it was first established, was the challenge, because obviously you want the call to be free to the caller. I'm just curious if there's been any more statewide or national discussion around that and sustainability for funding.
Yes, there has been conversations around that. I know we had a team member on here earlier who would be much better to handle that conversation. Danielle, I don't know if she's still on, but Danielle is there she is. I see her unmuted. Danielle, do you want to share a little bit on that?
Hey, Chris, thanks. Hi, Karen and everybody. Yeah, just briefly, and I'm so glad that you queued that up, Karen, because I know that you all at the COC are very happy to sign on to letters of support. So wanting to flag that coming up, we are submitting a budget request through Assemblymember Dr. Jackson's office. He has agreed to be our sponsor. It's a $20 million budget request that would essentially fund 211 infrastructure across the state.
Oh, wow.
So that's something that we're really excited about and really hopeful. We know there was the HELP Act federally that did include some 211 funding, but we're not really sure at this point where that status is. So really hoping to be able to focus on our statewide budget ask. And we definitely will be sending it your way to ask you to sign on and support. Thank
Love
you,
it.
Chris.
Yeah, good to hear that. I know it's an ongoing issue. So thank you so much, Chris. We really appreciate the collaboration from you guys. And let's keep the conversations going, right? Because there's a lot that needs to be done moving forward. And I know Tanya and Greg and Heidi and, you know, the executive team at HWS has continued to work really hard and invest a significant amount of time in integrated service delivery. So we're thankful for that leadership at the county level. I think it's coming from the top, from the board and the CEO down, right, Tanya? So it's pretty important, and it's great to see this kind of progress to blow up the silos and share information. So all good stuff. Let's go ahead and move on to the next agenda item. Okay, Ms. Zuli, do we have a quorum?
Yes.
Yes, great. And did you guys notice we have like about 116 people on? Yay, I love to see the numbers. I'd love to see it bust over the top of 200, but I'll take 116. Okay, so at this time, we are going to entertain a motion for consent items. We do have the December 18th, 24 Continuum of Care meeting minutes for approval. Do I have a motion to approve? Please don't be shy, you guys. Remember, voting members only. Who's a voting member out there that can give me a motion?
I can. This is Kim from Step Up. I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Thank you, Kim. And do I have a second?
Renee Hexted, I
This is
second.
Charles from Mercy House. I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Charles. I think Renee beat you to the punch. Thank you, Renee. Appreciate it. Do I have any abstentions or objections? Hearing none, the item passes. Let's go ahead and move on to the next agenda item. New business. Okay. Tanya Torno, federal policies and impacts on homelessness. Tanya, you have the floor.
All right, thank you, Karen. And once again, good afternoon to all of our partners, all of our friends who have been engaged in this work and are continuing to do so, which is evident in your participation here today. So we thought it was, or it would be appropriate to give an update, given that there has been a lot of activity on the federal level. And a few weeks ago, you may recall an email that I sent out that provided in news regarding a memo that was released by the Office of Management and Budget that requested pauses to all work that did not align with specific executive orders. The memo was sent out to all federal department heads, including the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, in an effort to identify and review all federal financial assistance programs with the goal of making sure that any current as well as new investments aligned with new priorities or current priorities directed by the new administration. I think certainly within a few hours, or what felt like a few hours, the very next day, there was news that as a result of nonprofit advocacy groups, a lawsuit, the freeze was put on pause, and we understand that HUD is reviewing all of its investments, which certainly includes the HUD Continuum of Care programs, and will be working or advising its staff as well as its grantees, which we, the County of Riverside and the Riverside County Continuum of Care are one of those entities, whether there are modifications needed to any of those agreements. We wanted to provide an update that we have been in close contact with our HUD local field office representative and other contacts at the federal level, which include Helene Schneider, who is with the United States Interagency Council on Homelessness, as well as our HUD consultant, Joe Coletti, which all of you know and have worked with. And at this time, we have not been given any direction to discontinue or to restructure our programs or processes. And so the current plan is to continue operating as we have been. But certainly we wanted to make sure and share with this group that we are continuing to monitor any and all notices from HUD, and that if there are or when there are any changes, we'll make sure to communicate those both to the COC here, but certainly our subrecipients who are administering HUD COC projects. So while we don't know what the change, if there will be changes or what the changes will look like, I think one thing that has certainly been clear to me in the 11 years or so that I've done this work is that we should always be preparing for the worst case scenario, and it's the very reason why this network and us coming together in this way is so important. It's what's led to our success in addressing and coordinating homeless or other emergencies that come through, whether it's the county or city's emergency management departments, and are in response to floods, fires, and even the power shutoffs that we experienced a few weeks ago. This is the group. You are all very much the persons that we are first to give notice when there are expected delays in services or disruptions to people that are unsheltered. And so just know that I think more than ever, we need to remain activated, which is why I'm happy that we're on a monthly schedule, but also am thankful to our COC chairs, both Karen and Michelle, as well as our Board of Governance, who are quick to say yes whenever we need to schedule a special meeting to convene. So again, I realize that I may not be giving new news to a lot of you, other to say that we are on watch, as I know a lot of you are, and we are getting your emails, we are getting your calls, we are getting your text messages, and we certainly appreciate the encouragement. Again, the good news is that as of today, we are continuing to support over 500 individuals across our HUD Continuum of Care programs, which include both rapid rehousing and permanent supportive housing programs. And as of the call that Emma and I had yesterday with our HUD local field representative, that is not currently subject to change. What we do know, and what has been public news as of most recently, is that HUD is facing a 50% staffing reduction. So what we anticipate is potential delays in agreements and even access to information. But we are again monitoring that. We're staying connected to the extent that we can. And again, we'll continue to report out to this group on what we know. Similarly, I wanted to share that I think what you are all aware of is that our HUD resources certainly provide a substantial amount of our resources. We get about $25 million from HUD, but also in the last couple of years, the amount of resources that we receive on a state level have significantly increased through Homeless Housing Assistance Program, or what we refer to as HAP funding, and Encampment Resolution Funds, or ERF funds. And so similarly, we have been on a lot of calls with state representatives, and they are too watching very closely what's happening on a federal level, and like us, looking to plan contingencies should anything change. And during the last call that I was on with the California Interagency Council on homelessness, there was some reassurance to COCs and counties that the state of California is here with you. We are going to plan, and we are going to coordinate. We're going to help troubleshoot with you. And so I just wanted to stress to this group that as a result of the high success of all of your projects, we have the state really looking to us as Riverside County as a region that implements best practices, and they are very much in this with us. So with that, I will go ahead and end, but certainly open it up to see if anybody has any questions or comments. Thank you.
Well, Tanya, I just want to thank you for stepping up to the plate. This is an uncertain time, and I think it's important for us all to just remember. I can share from my own personal experience and seeing things change across the government horizon over many years. Where we have times of feast, times of famine, times of uncertainty, and yet somehow we always have a path where we're able to serve people, you know, and just to encourage the rest of you, I can remember, and those of you that are in the housing space, I remember because I used to have a redevelopment agency. When redevelopment was eliminated at the state level, we thought, how are we ever going to get affordable housing in the ground? We can't do it without redevelopment. And somehow, if you think back when that happened, we've been able to successfully get affordable housing in the ground across the state. And so that, and even, you know, just as another example, when I used to work for Orange County, the county went through a bankruptcy and their entire agencies, thousands of people where entire agencies were completely eliminated. And we thought, how are we ever going to survive? And yet, services, health and human services, and helping those in the community that are most vulnerable, we were able to figure out how to continue to do it. So I don't want to minimize, you know, things, but I just want to encourage all of you, having been in this space for many years, things are kind of cyclical and we just need to kind of hang in there and
practice of putting it
and
in
do
before I
everything
sign it.
that we can.
This is what happened when you multitask.
Oh,
You don't let it done and it's going.
Can we mute that, Zuli? Thank you. Do everything that we can to just work to unite across all of our agencies and focus on things that can bring us together and unite us. And also to do everything that we can to throw our support behind Miss Tanya and the team. You know, when they have to give us updates, sometimes it may not be good news. And we need to figure out how we can be creative to work together, to be entrepreneurial, to figure out how we can find resources to continue the mission. So Tanya, I just want to thank you for that. And I want to encourage you and the rest of the Continuum of Care members.
Thank you, Karen. And I will tell you, we feel supported by all of you. Our hope is that you, of course, feel supported by us. There is a question posed by Chris in the chat box, just in regards to individuals who are subrecipients of HUD COC funding. And I wanted to share with you that our plan is very much to coordinate a separate meeting with all of our subrecipients of HUD funding to review their contracts and you know, work on contingency planning. And again, knowing that as of today, nothing has changed. Our programs are continuing as they have been, but recognizing that we've always needed to have backup plans to all of our grants because federal and state funding is never really guaranteed. And I'll be honest, it's every year in January, it's always right after Christmas, when we come back from the holidays, that our team is on alert for HUD's notice of awards to see you know, what projects were funded, what projects were not. And so some of this is just really, again, status quo, but recognizing that, right, every year there's changes in the budget, and so we need to make sure that we're continuing to have these ongoing conversations. So to our subrecipients here, we will be having a separate call to better plan, coordinate, and answer any additional questions that you have.
Thank you, Tanya. Ayoko, did you have a question?
Yes, I just wanted to share a comment that I did hear from the are we Region 9, Region 10 HUD office in LA, and 1/3 of the HUD staff were let go last Friday. So it's tough times, but I do want to thank Madam Chair for those words of encouragement, because this too shall pass, and there's so much commitment and energy in this group here that we will go on. So thank you.
Yes, and before, I don't know if I thought I saw Emma raise her hand, but the one thing we were talking about at the very beginning, before we officially opened the meeting, as I was mentioning that, you know, all of you, all of us in the space that we operate in, we're leaders. And so when we face challenges, we should embrace it as a leadership opportunity. And so, you know, we really can show the community that we serve what we're made of and how we face these challenges and how we work together to unite and not let the challenges divide us and separate us. If there ever was a time that we need to be united to work together, it's now. So I'm not trying to push out flowery words. I am speaking from experience and lots of battle scars being in this space for many years. So anyways, okay. Any other comments before we move on? All right, Zuli, let's go to the next agenda item. Okay, agenda item 5.2, introduction of the Veteran Service Officer. And we have the Director of Veteran Services, Gregory Kafos, and then I would like to, Gregory, I have his Matthew's bio I was going to read. I know you wanted to say a few words first, but before I hand the floor over to you, I'm trying to remember what month the Matthews position was on agenda at our Board of Governance meeting. Don't remember how many months ago that was. Tanya, do you remember?
I think it was in October, September, October-ish, maybe.
Thank you, Miss Emma. Well, those of you that participated in that meeting knew that there was one very loud Karen Roper who really felt strong about supporting the investment of funding to develop a specialized position, which is Matthew's position. And Gregory was there, you know, talking about the value and the reason why we needed to develop this position. And so, Gregory, first of all, thank you so much for the leadership that you've been providing at the Veteran Service Office. And by the way, just a side note, man, what amazing music you provided at the longest night. That was so cool. Okay, take the floor, Gregory. Is he with us?
Is
Matthew?
Maybe Matthew's here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see Gregory here, but I can start out just with a quick introduction to myself. So I'm Matthew Hefner. I'm the Veteran Services Housing Coordinator for Riverside County, and I'm super excited to be able to join you guys today. So just wanted to start off with a quick little intro and a little hello. I know you guys are going to go through my bio there, but I just wanted to say hi.
And it's nice to put a face with the name, Matthew. It's great to see you. I'll read your bio because it's pretty exciting. So I'd like to tell you guys a little bit about Matthew. He is a Navy veteran who served 7 years conducting support intelligence support to multiple ships. He's been serving the veteran population in multiple facets. He started in 2013 in the Veteran Services Office at UC Irvine doing peer support. He came from the nonprofit world where he worked for Volunteers of America. Oh, that's a great initiative. Let's see. In LA and Orange County with their Battle Buddy Bridge program, providing peer support outreach services to homeless veterans. That position led him to moving on to VOALA and working with their SSVF program for several years. He served as a case manager, outreach specialist, and senior healthcare navigator. He continued to grow within VOALA, and he took the opportunity to become a program coordinator in their North Orange County outreach program. And that is where he led a team to provide direct services to the homeless population as a whole. And that role eventually led to him becoming the program coordinator for North Orange County Care and Coordination Program, where they provided direct street outreach with care coordination and housing assistance to include housing navigation and EH services. And then upon leaving that organization, he started with US Vets in Long Beach as the transitional housing coordinator. He has a BA in criminology from UC Irvine and an MSW from USC with a focus on military and veterans. Wow. That's quite a bio. We're so excited to steal you away from that county and have you here in our county serving our very precious veterans. So Matthew, we're so excited to hear more about what you're going to be doing. You have the floor.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll give you guys a little insight on myself. I'm a dad. I have 4 kids. So with a 1-year-old sitting at home right now, so I've got some excitement going on at home. Um, in addition to that, I'm just excited to be out here serving veterans, working to build connections within the community. My main goal is to kind of combine the experiences that I had with Battle Buddy Bridge and with Volunteers of America, and utilize those experiences to be able to serve the veterans here in Riverside County so I'll give you an insight. So I don't know who here is familiar with VPAN in LA. So the Veteran Peer Access Network in Los Angeles is a network of veterans that provide peer support, case management services, housing assistance, like just full wraparound coverage services in LA County. And so what we're looking to do with this role is I spoke with Greg about this, and we want to emulate that as much as possible. So we're looking to develop a team of members, a team of peers that are going to be providing services to our veteran population here throughout Riverside County, primarily focusing on the homeless veteran population as well as incarcerated veterans. So we want to take our Veteran Service Office, which is known primarily for doing VA claims, and make it a full service Veteran Service Office. So it's not just claims, it's housing, it's resources, and then it's bringing the claim support directly to the homeless veteran that may not be able to get to a VSO office. Because what I see is we have a lot of homeless vets that are eligible for VA disability benefits, but it's very difficult for them to make it in. And so if we're able to have certified claims representatives actually come out to the veterans where they're located, then we can create a much greater impact in their lives. We can focus on their claims as well as getting them connected with HUD-VASH and with our SSVF programs locally, which, as noted, I worked with the SSVF program in Orange County, which with Volunteers of America. So SSVF is supportive services for veteran families. They do housing. They basically focus on getting our homeless vets housed, and that's their number one focus. It's housing. A lot of times they have employment resources and stuff like such as that attached to it. And so we want to be able to, our goal is to coordinate the services within the county, within our local nonprofits, and within the actual county, like the different county resources that are assisting our veterans, and create a central point to assist those veterans. And that's where my role comes into play. Like, my role is to centralize the services for veterans and provide outreach for the veterans within the county, which is something that we've got some of, but not enough. And so we want to ensure that we've got people that are reliable out there every day assisting our veterans. I know I don't have a bunch of slides to go over, but that's pretty much the gist of it. Karen, so I just wanted to say I'm familiar with you in Orange County, actually. I'm very familiar. I connected a lot with Bridges at Kramer Place, and I know you had a lot to do with that place.
Thank you. Yeah, that was the first year-round emergency shelter. There was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get multiple city support for that. But I also, VSOs are a special place in my heart because I used to oversee the Orange County Veteran Service Office. So I know the extreme value of the services that you all provide. I think what might be helpful for you to explain, I'll give you a situation that we see commonly. In fact, we have a veteran right now that we're trying to help in Corona, and I'm sure providers across the region experience the same thing. We have a veteran who his income is such that he is just slightly over the limit. He does not qualify for VASH. He does not qualify for our HUD tenant-based rental assistance program. And he is not divorced, but doesn't live with his wife and gives over half of his income to his wife. And he's about to lose his housing. And that's like an example of where you run into challenges with vets that have a situation where on paper they look like they're over income, but they have unique situations. And I think even if I'm not mistaken, the VASH voucher income limit is different in San Bernardino County than it is in Riverside, because we've had veterans run into that issue. So I'm just curious if you, just for the purposes of example, because sometimes those are some of the challenges with vets in housing, if you've dealt with a situation like that.
Yes, so I've definitely dealt with situations like that, and if needed, like especially in a situation like that, we may work across counties if they have connections to other counties. And specifically, they need to have connections to other counties. But like I know Riverside and San Bernardino counties, VASH limits, they're pretty similar. But for instance, Orange County has higher limits. LA County has higher limits as well. But one thing to note for our service providers out there is there's been a relatively recent change in the incomes that VASH requires. So VASH no longer considers VA service connected disability as income when it comes to calculating the income for veterans. So if you have a veteran that may be over the limits based on the county, based on what you would normally look at previously with their VA service connection, it might place them over the limits. That is no longer the case. HUD VASH here in Riverside County and throughout the nation is now starting to eliminate counting the VA service connection as an income source when it comes to their calculation for approval. So that's one thing to note, that if that VA service connection is something that may be taking them over, that's no longer an issue when it comes to VASH. As far as trying to find resources for him or her, for in that case, it could be anyone. So in trying to find resources for them, I would be working on connecting with local nonprofits to see if it's something where we may be able to connect them to someone that can just get them that little bit to catch up their rent. We could connect them with American Legion or a place like Disabled American Veterans, something like that, that may be able to provide a small amount of rental assistance to be able to assist them just to get by, because it might be that moment where they just need a little bit to save their place.
Yeah, well, I just use that as for purposes of example. For us, we're fortunate we have local city funds that are flexible, so we're not necessarily bound to the same types of income restrictions, but definitely a long-term solution is needed. I think that's just a good example of where I know people might run into issues, or even, and I know Ioka, you want to say something. I'll just say one other thing. That people find is there's a big distinction between somebody that's been dishonorably discharged who does not have access to certain benefits versus those that were other than or honorably discharged. So, you know, just trying to collaborate with you all to help navigate a complex system. So, Ayoko, did you want to make a comment or ask a question?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Karen. Hello, Matthew. Thank you. I actually serve on the Volunteers of America LA board, so it's nice to see you out in the IE, and thank you for everything that you've done. I have heard, because I do some work with the state of California, and I heard that I believe it was Riverside County not county staff, but the VA county staff. I asked, in Riverside County, do they have a hard time getting vets qualified for their benefits? Because you had mentioned earlier, sometimes it's a challenge to get them in the system, actually get them verified and qualified so that they can receive the benefits they deserve. So I'm hearing conflicting things from different people. Some people say, no, it's very hard, even if you're an honorably discharged vet, to get connected to VA services sometimes. And other people say, no, it's no problem. I was wondering what you have found. I know you're new here in the IE, but have you heard anything like
Honestly,
that?
yeah, I've heard both sides of it, but the
Yeah.
big thing for our vets, and I think this is where it comes into play, is it's having a knowledge of where to go. So if for the veterans, as long as there's someone out there that's able to guide them and just tell them, okay, here's the guy to call. So you call the Valor Center at the VA Loma Linda, and those are the guys, they can assist you in getting screened. Um, they can set up their outreach to go and meet with the veteran, and then our service can assist with that too. So we can help to coordinate that outreach and coordinate those screenings for HUD-VASH as well. So yes, it has been difficult for veterans to be able to access the VA system, but our goal is to help alleviate that. So our wraparound services, we're going to be providing the support that's necessary to get these veterans connected to the VA services that they need. Like I've got direct contacts. Sorry, I was to say I've got direct contacts to the VASH outreach team to be able to set up the screenings and stuff as necessary.
Great. So it's best for, so if any of us have a veterans to make a referral, they should contact you and then your counterpart in San Bernardino County.
Yeah, they can contact me. And then even if they're in San Bern, I'll even say this, like if they're outside of our area, if they're working with VASH or working with Loma Linda, I can get them contacted, get the veterans contacted with the Loma Linda outreach team. And so I'll just want to make sure, like, we're serving veterans in general. I just want to make sure they're getting served.
Great, thank you. Yeah, we just have heard so many conflicting things. So great, thank you for your work.
That's no problem. I know one of the issues we have in Riverside County is it's very spread out. And so getting to the VA clinics can be very difficult, especially for our veterans that are in the Coachella Valley or in like the pass areas and stuff that are just a little bit more, just a lot more distance. And so we're trying to help alleviate that with our outreach services.
Other questions or comments? Well, the one, I'm sorry, was there a question or comment?
So I had a question in the chat.
Oh, so sorry.
Sorry.
I missed that. I had my toggle on to people. Okay, so she's asking you what is the expected timeline for achieving these goals?
There's no specific timeline yet, just because we're just getting started. And so we're just developing our team right now. As we continue to move forward, I'll be able to provide timelines. As far as getting veterans connected with HUD-VASH, it's a case-by-case basis, but we should be able to get them screened within a week or two. That should be no problem. Going beyond the screening, it's all a case-by-case basis from there.
Well, I just want to end with saying thank you for joining the team and providing such important services to our veterans and to all of the many services that you all provide at the VSO. I will just say one of my fondest memories is to remember when the claims officers would advocate on behalf of our veterans who had service-connected disabilities, who were entitled to benefits assistance and had been working so hard to get that approved from the VA. And the claims officers would work, weeks, months, sometimes years, and then finally an approval would come retroactive back to when they actually had the service connected disability to be able to compensate those veterans is a pretty huge day for celebration. And I'm sure you see lots of those great successes with all the work that the claims officers are doing. And I'm sure you're collaborating with them because there are the veterans that haven't been able to get their due compensation for serving our country.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're definitely collaborating with them. We're actually going to be each of our individuals that are on staff that are going to be doing this, including myself, are going to be certified as claims officers as well. So that way we're going to be able to do that in the field with each one of us. I can tell you right now, I had my exciting day when I hit my 100% service connection. And I remember just how awesome that felt. And I want these veterans to all be able to feel that as well. Like that's life changing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. If there are no other questions or comments, we'll go ahead and move on to the next agenda item. Thank you again, Matthew.
Thank you.
Okay. Agenda 5.3, cold weather season updates. Miss Rashana and Gershom from HWS are both going to present.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rashana Walker, Supervising Development Specialist with Housing and Workforce Solutions. Thank you again to everyone for participating here with us today at our CLC meeting. Here at Housing and Workforce Solutions, we work to create streamlined and a wide range. I'm sorry, did I hear someone? No. We work to provide to create streamlined and a wide range of services through our continuum of care. And with that said, we also like to take advantage of maximizing special initiatives and or events, especially during the coldest months of the year, just to fast track our unhoused neighbors into safe spaces to get them out of the elements of the cold and rainy season. Typically, every year around November, December, we usually launch our cold weather sheltering program in the city of Riverside through Path of Life Shelter. However, we would like to use the same approach and explore other areas in the county for the next winter season. So we're hoping to get providers to begin thinking about ideas and capacity to replicate this type of program in other parts of the county. Another event we take advantage of the opportunity is the longest night event held in December. And with that, to discuss and provide a summary of our longest night that happened in December of 2024, I will hand it off to Gershom to provide a brief update on that event. Gershom?
Thanks, Roshana. Good afternoon, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here. So, on behalf of the COC, I would just like to extend my gratitude to all of the service providers that assisted us with providing resources for our unsheltered neighbors at our 2024 longest night of the year event, as well as the city of Riverside for allowing us to once again utilize Fairmount Park as the venue to host this wonderful event. And so I'm pleased to share that in 2024, Riverside County witnessed a 34% reduction in deaths compared to the previous year, which highlights the positive impact and effectiveness of our partners over at Healthcare in Action, who have been doing just an outstanding job in providing street medicine and just addressing the needs of some of the most vulnerable populations in our county. And so I'm also pleased to share that the service delivery also increased by 60% compared to the previous year. I would just like to give a special shout out to the VASH team from the Housing Authority who administered VASH vouchers on the day of the event. 6 veterans received VASH vouchers, helping them take a crucial step towards housing stability. And as for shelter placements, 5 veteran households that received these vouchers were placed into emergency non-congregate shelter settings, resulting in 8 people being sheltered. And then lastly, 15 individuals were also connected to permanent supportive housing. And so this is just a remarkable achievement that reflects the dedication from our partners who continue to provide these critical services and who work tirelessly to create lasting solutions for our unsheltered neighbors in our community. And I would just like to extend my deepest appreciation to everyone involved in making this event possible. And additionally, I would just like to give a special thanks to our team over at Rivco TV for capturing the moment. Although we don't have a highlight reel, I'm going to be dropping the link in the chat in case you might have missed the event. And if you would just like to watch the footage that was captured, feel free to do so. And so lastly, I would just like to extend my appreciation to the teams who also coordinated the event at our additional locations. So over at REHS Behavioral Health Clinic in Hemet, and as well as the CVRM Chapel in Indio, and as well as to all the dedicated staff and service providers that participated at these locations as well. And then a special thank you, of course, to my team and for their support in coordinating the event on the day of. And so as we look forward to this year's event, I'm confident that it will once again be a meaningful and impactful gathering, and I remain hopeful that we will continue to see a steady decline in homeless deaths throughout Riverside County as well. So if you are a service provider who is interested in supporting this year's event in any capacity, we encourage you to reach out to us at coc@rivco.org for any additional information that we can provide you folks. So thank you. Kicking it back over to you, Roshana.
Thank you, Gershom. Also, as you are all aware, we conducted our biannual unsheltered point in time count, where through surveys we get a snapshot of the number of people experiencing homelessness in our region. We all know that this count is no perfect measure, it's just an approximate number, and we use this to gather data trends and capture factors associated with homelessness. We know through our own data research that our system usually serves more individuals than that is usually indicated by the point in time count. At this time, we would like to thank all of our volunteers who participated in this year's count. As you all know, without volunteers, we would not be able to conduct a thorough count within the time frame that HUD allows. So this year we had over 1,000 registered volunteers. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Without the volunteers, again, we wouldn't be able to conduct a thorough count. So in staying true to our more than a count model, this year during the point in time count, we identified 3 locations of the county to bring together organizations to provide same-day services to individuals who were surveyed that were within our 4 targeted populations, which are veterans, transitional age youth, seniors, and families with minor children. These individuals were immediately linked to a provider and received same-day housing placement in some cases. Through this initiative, we were able to place about 10 individuals into housing that day. So we are very thankful, again, as Gershom said, to our partners who helped coordinate and work with those individuals to provide those immediate same-day services. Another approach we take to ensuring our unhoused neighbors are safe during inclement weather has been working closely with, we have been working closely with our county emergency management department for disaster preparedness. This allows us to get ahead of dangerous weather conditions that may hit Riverside County, such as the most recently, the high winds that we experienced about a month ago, where we worked with our EMD and were notified of areas where planned utility shutoffs were being coordinated as a prevention method. We leveraged our county's warming centers through CAP to provide individuals with centers and locations where they can go to keep warm, plug in medical equipment, and or to just get food and water during that inclement weather time. So as you can see, we strive to provide an array of much needed resources to assist our unhoused neighbors and assist them in getting them back into moving into the right direction to self-sufficiency. So with that being said, if there are no questions, I will hand it back over to you, Madam Chair.
So thank you guys. A lot of hard work involved in the initiatives that you were talking about, especially the count. And I'll be a broken record on this. So I just want to go on record and say this again. I hope that when we release the numbers, HWS does a great job with that high level fact sheet. And it has a snapshot of how many people were served in HMIS in the year. And it's a massive number compared to the cumulative total of both the unsheltered and sheltered count. And what I hope we can do is drill down by city their sheltered and unsheltered and HMIS numbers so that we can see the distinct differences, because it's truly where the real measure is in the HMIS data. And I think you said it well. You said snapshot or something. You said it's not perfect, but it's a baseline nationally. But I just really feel like it would be super important for us to have those metrics for each of the regions. So. Okay, so any other questions, comments for Rashana Gershom? Matthew?
Yeah, I just want to say, Rashana, it was a pleasure working with you on the day of the pit count over here at the VSO office. That was definitely quite an experience to be able to see the level of coordination that was taking place that day. It was pretty incredible to be able to be a part of that, and just to ensure that our veterans were getting the services that they needed. It was awesome.
Thank you. And I do want to take this time, I forgot to shout out the Veteran Service Office in Riverside that hosted that more than account, the California Family Life Center in Hemet. That was the second location, and the third location was at Martha's Village and Kitchen in the Coachella Valley. So thank you to those providers and who opened up their spaces to host this type of event.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next agenda item. Agenda 5.4, migrant families. Looks like we have a team effort here. Miss Emma and do you say Valeria? Is that how I say it?
Yeah, Valeria.
Yes.
Or Val.
Okay,
It goes by Val.
perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, COC members and partner agencies. My name is Emma Perez Singh, and I am the COC Division Manager. I will be presenting an update on the Rapid Response Network, including our Migrant Families Program. I am also accompanied by Valeria Cervantes, who is our Migrant Families Coordinator, and will cover the current executive orders and the California Sanctuary State Law. Next slide, please. The Rapid Response Network was established in response to the need for support services for asylum seekers released in Riverside County, and this started in 2019. Over the years and since 2019, the Rapid Response Network has played really a vital role in assisting the county migrant families program by filling critical service gaps for migrant families in Riverside County. This really has included anywhere from transportation support, groceries, furniture, temporary stays, really runs the gamut of of services and support that have been provided by various rapid response network players. In recent light of federal executive actions and the evolving discourse surrounding migration, HWS, our department, has determined the need to reactivate the Rapid Response Network, which includes re-engaging legacy members and increasing awareness of the current policy landscape, in addition to identifying and recruiting new members to strengthen our collective response. At this time, we invite all interested organizations and individuals to join the Rapid Response Network. If you or your agency would like to participate, we would like you to contact the COC at our shared inbox, which is coc@rivco.org. The email will be at the end of the slides, so you will be able to access it in SharePoint. And I can also ask, thank you, Gershom, he placed it in the chat. Additionally, we encourage you to refer any agencies working in the space to join our effort. A formal email will be sent to the COC listserv with details on the next meeting. We had a meeting a few weeks ago just to give everyone situational awareness and also to notify agencies of needs that we have. So we are particularly seeking organizations or congregations or faith-based groups that can establish host home programs. Also, we are looking for organizations that could provide rental assistance and security deposit support, offer free legal aid, and connect with landlords willing to house these individuals. We are also looking for agencies that can provide general financial support opportunities. And I would really like to take this opportunity to give a call to action. Your engagement is essential in ensuring that Riverside County can effectively support migrant families in need. Next slide, please. I'll shift over to the Migrant Families Program. The Migrant Families Program, which was established in 2021, provides essential support to individuals traveling through Riverside County on their way to their final destination. In partnership with Galilee Center, the program offers immediate congregate shelter and access to critical resources to help folks along their way. Participants receive assistance with travel logistics, food, healthcare, legal aid, and other community services to facilitate their onward journey, or for those who remain in Riverside County, support their successful integration and well-being. Initially, this program was created in response to asylum seekers being released onto the streets of Riverside County without any support or resources. And the program has evolved into a comprehensive service assisting individuals released by California Border Patrol locations within Riverside County. For those of you who are not aware, we actually have 3 Border Patrol stations located in Blythe, Indio, and Murrieta. Most families stay an average of 1 to 3 days before continuing their travel to destinations outside of California. Funded through FEMA and the state, this program has been instrumental in reducing the strain on local care systems and mitigating the risk of unsheltered homelessness, particularly for families with young children. To date, the program has assisted over 96,000 individuals. We want to make sure that we recognize and appreciate the many partners who have contributed to this effort over the years, including the Riverside County Emergency Management Department, the Salvation Army here in Riverside, who was a partner early on, California Department of Social Services, who has partnered with us from the beginning and continues to be a partner and a supporter. In addition to Riverside University Health System's public health, primarily their disease control, Barbara Cole has been instrumental in helping us to support the program, and also various faith-based and nonprofit organizations. From the very beginning, the Catholic Diocese of San Bernardino was a large partner, also the Church of Latter-day Saints, and many, many other nonprofit organizations that stepped up to help support and bridge gaps for this population. And next slide, please. Another component of the Migrant Families Program is the Extended Stay Shelter, which was established by Galilee Center in 2023. And this program provides an additional stay for asylum seekers up to 45 days for the congregate shelter who encounter challenges in reaching their final destination. So essentially, these are folks who initially had a sponsor, and between them being released by Border Patrol and coming to our congregate shelter, had some kind of change or the sponsor fell through. And so we had a need to sort of have a place for these individuals to have some additional time for Galilee Center staff to work with them to identify alternate sponsors or secure long-term shelter options across the country. Of these individuals, approximately 70% who stay at the extended stay shelter choose to remain in Riverside County. The remaining individuals travel to other locations across the United States. These families receive comprehensive support, including assistance with work permits, legal aid, service navigation, and transitioning into permanent housing. The program has been sustained through the efforts of Galilee Center and their donors, and in recent years with funding from FEMA and the state of California. At this time, I will turn it over to Valeria to provide an overview of the current executive orders, the California Sanctuary State Law, and the Know Your Rights resources.
Thank you, Emma, so much. If we can go on to the next slide, please. Okay. So I'm going to touch on the current executive orders that are impacting this program. One of which is protecting the American people against invasion, and another executive order on refugees admissions, among a few others signed that directly impact migrants within the United States. The executive order protecting the American people from invasion directs the Department of Homeland Security and other agencies to enforce immigration laws against all unauthorized and removable non-citizens. It also aims to enhance security at all U.S. borders. It emphasizes stricter compliance for jurisdictions in the use of federally allocated funds for migrant services. And the executive order on refugee admission puts a pause on refugee resettlements, among other items that were available to those seeking refugee or those considered refugees coming into the U.S. But despite the recent federal changes, the COC will continue operating the Migrant Family Program as usual until we receive an official update regarding any potential funding adjustments. Given the recent executive orders, we have seen a drastic decline in asylum seekers entering the program. So we are closely monitoring the developments related to the federal funds and the federal and state immigration policies to ensure our compliance and assess potential impacts on our program. So just want to clear that as of now, we're still operating as usual until we receive an official notice. And then if we go to the next slide, please. And so here we're highlighting that California remains a sanctuary state under SB 54, the California Values Act, which limits local law enforcement's collaboration with federal immigration enforcement. Governor Newsom has reaffirmed California's commitment to its sanctuary policies, while also considering adjustments to specific collaboration measures between state prisons and the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or more commonly known as ICE, to address any public safety concerns. In addition, under SB 54, local law enforcement agencies, including the County of Riverside Sheriff, are restricted from using resources to enforce federal immigration laws. However, they may cooperate or assist the federal authorities in cases involving individuals where a specific or with specific criminal convictions. Now, for our county's efforts, this previous month, the Riverside County Board of Supervisors passed a resolution that emphasizes Riverside County as a welcoming place for all, regardless of immigration status. So Riverside County's initiatives for our immigrant community include launching a resource website to provide essential information or easy access to resources to this immigrant or migrant communities. Drafting a resolution to recognize the valuable contributions of our immigrant populations. Additionally, as improving data management for the DACA, or Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, and other immigrant records, and exploring funding sources to boost support for immigrant programs and services within our county. If we could go to the next slide, please. Okay, so now when it comes to empowering our immigrant community, so earlier this month, the Riverside County COC partnered with TODIC Legal Center, led by Luz Gallegos, to host a Know Your Rights webinar for our community partners. This session covered essential topics, including the distribution of red cards, which guide individuals on it's asserting their constitutional rights during encounters with immigration authorities. And it is like a little red card that kind of like a credit card that people can keep in their wallets. Um, so uh, um, um, with immigration authorities and procedures for requesting proper warrants and notifications from ICE. We encourage all of our community partners to obtain these red cards. They can be distributed to the community or to the clients that they serve to spread awareness. If you are interested in obtaining these cards, please email us at the coc@rivco.org email, and we will direct you on how to obtain them. Additionally, given the heightened fear within our community due to potential deportation raids, it is crucial for all our community partners to be informed about the rights and protections that our immigrant population has. Under California sanctuary laws, local law enforcement agencies are generally prohibited from using their resources to assist federal immigration enforcement without a judicial warrant. So this means that ICE must present a warrant signed by a judge to access non-public areas or obtain certain information. So understanding these protections empowers our community to respond appropriately during interactions with either ICE or other federal agencies or immigration officials. So we are definitely thankful for partners like TODIC, who have served the immigrant community in our county and serve as a resource to the COC for issues regarding legal support and education to the immigrant community. By staying informed and utilizing available resources, we can work together to ensure the safety and rights of all of our community members. And I do want to point out the photo on this slide here. The photo to the right would be like an official judicial warrant. The photo on the left would not. So just so you have a little bit of a visual of what an official warrant looks like. And then from here, I'll pass it on to Emma. If you want to go on to the next slide.
Yes, so again, I just want to reiterate my earlier call to action. And if you are interested in joining the Rapid Response Network or know of an agency who works with the migrant population in that space, please refer them to us, send us an email, coc@rivco.org. We will be sending out an email to our COC listserv with our meetings, our planned meetings. We don't have one on calendar yet, but we are getting ready to set those up on a regular basis. So please send us your information as soon as possible. Next slide, please. All right, I will now pause for questions.
Nice job, ladies. Do we have any questions or comments? I do have a question. Emma, can you refresh my memory? For the migrant families, was the requirement that they had to have a sponsor of record? Is that still a requirement? I don't know if I'm remembering my facts correctly.
So, yes, you are correct. Border Patrol, as part of their processing, had to verify that an individual had a sponsor, a legitimate sponsor. However, that's done right before release. And so sometimes things can change by the time the person actually gets released and is physically at the congregate shelter location.
Well, this is you guys did a beautiful job. And I think, it's sometimes tough when you're navigating where you might have differences between federal law and state law. It's not uncommon. We know we've experienced other things. Like, for example, if you look in California, marijuana is legal, but if you have Section 8 rental assistance, I think from the federal level, marijuana is illegal. So that's just an example of navigating sometimes differences between federal and state law. I think you guys handled this with grace, and you did a great job explaining the facts. And I think, from where we stand, the policy decisions are at a level much higher than us. And you guys are doing the best that you can to figure out a way to serve people that are in need. And you guys did a beautiful job keeping it just to the facts. And also, when I think back about just how the whole initiative started, you guys, I think Miss Tanya was kind of at the forefront, right, in developing
Absolutely,
some of these
yes.
partnerships when there weren't
She
a
and
lot of
Heidi.
resources.
Mhm.
Yes, and to look at a challenge where you don't have a lot of financial resources, and wow, it really started at a grassroots level with the faith-based groups coming together. So anyways, I think this is just a good example of how, we focus on the common issues, we focus on common solutions, and don't let some of the challenging issues divide us. So wow, considering, how you guys had to navigate that, you did just a phenomenal job, both of you.
Thank you. I
Thank
think
you.
Tanya raised her hand. I'm
Yes.
not sure if it was momentarily or by mistake.
You know what? I was just trying to admit somebody into the meeting, but I'll
Oh,
use this quick second to say that, I think we felt it was really important to provide the continuum of care with this update, given that our mission is to end and prevent homelessness for everyone. And certainly this includes people from all walks of life. And Karen, I am so encouraged by your words, but also reminded that, right, we have different sources of funding, federal, state, and local sources of funding, and we have always had to sort of lay those out. I just imagine a map with, or a list of all the different funding resources, and recognizing that there are some pots of funding that can serve veterans, there are some that can serve youth, and so this is not, again, a new process for us. And I realize that I'm being highly optimistic here, but only because, again, I think we have such a great privilege in Riverside County to work with a wide variety of partners, experts who have truly demonstrated their commitment to reaching that goal for everybody. So we will, of course, continue to keep you updated as we look to secure and troubleshoot any gaps for this population. But as Valeria and Emma have reminded us, we are continuing. The state is a huge partner in this, and they have agreed to step in where the federal resources may be closing up. So thank you.
We'll send your team to do presentations of the next really challenging situation, because that you guys just did such a great job. I'm very proud of you. So, all right. Any other comments or questions before we move on? All right. Next item. Standing agenda items. CSC lead agency, Emma, you are back on
Me again. Yes. Just have a quick couple of things here. I wanted to make sure that we introduced our new staff members. We have a couple, actually 3 new persons on our team. The first individual I would like to introduce is Margarita McKissick, who is a new program specialist with the COC. She will be the project manager over the Proposition 47 program, which for those of you who are hearing about this for the first time, is a state grant that we received to support individuals who are justice impacted that have substance use disorder and serious mental illness. And we will be working with our current street medicine vendor to extend our street medicine program an additional 3.5 years. She will also be supporting the work in Palm Springs through the Encampment Resolution Funding Program award that they received. So we will be working with them to help support those efforts. And Margarita, do you want to just say a few words?
Yes, hi. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
I just want to say it's been a pleasure working with this team, very supportive. I'm learning a lot, and it's really a great experience in my opinion.
Thank you. We are excited to work with you as well. And I'm sure the rest of the team and the COC will get to know you better in the near future. I also wanted to introduce Desaya, Desaya Ward, who is a new intern. She joined our team about 2 weeks ago, and she is working with our youth advisory board and to support the work of our YHDP youth team. So she is a youth herself with lived experience, and I've asked her just to say a couple of words to the COC.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say I'm learning a lot so far, and yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. And she was very nervous to say some things. I pushed her a little bit, and Gershom encouraged her to step out of her comfort zone. And then last but not least, we also have Mr. Ethan Transon, who is joining our team as an administrative services assistant, and he is providing administrative support to the COC programs team. And if you are a subrecipient of the COC, you will begin to see his name a lot. He's going to be sending out appointments and emails, and will be on TA calls, and can also help support with communications going to the team in general. So Ethan, do you want to just say hello to everyone?
Hi, everyone. It's great to be a part of the team, and I look forward to learning from all of you and working with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ethan. Okay, I realize that it's 4:56, so I'm going to go through this very quickly. We wanted to inform you that our HUD representative, Jeffrey Gilbert, has just told us that he will be retiring from HUD this Friday. He mentioned that the replacement has not been identified yet, that they are going to backfill his position as far as he knows. He just doesn't know with who. And, as Tanya mentioned, we recognize that HUD, like many other federal agencies, are facing the workforce reductions and As Ayoko also shared, HUD is not immune to this. We have been advised to anticipate significant delays. And so given these challenges, we are strongly encouraging all of our COC funded agencies to closely monitor their budgets, as obtaining amendments will be increasingly difficult. To end on a positive note, I did want to share that we had a visit from our U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness District Representative, Helene Schneider. We were with her for 2 whole days. Tanya and I got to spend a lot of time with her and to talk to her and really show off our system of care here in Riverside County. We visited Path of Life Ministries, the community shelter, the family shelter. We went to Coachella Valley Rescue Mission. We visited Palm Springs Navigation Center and their new transitional housing project and their congregate shelter. We also were hosted at Coachella Valley Rescue Mission. We got to go to the Corona Harrison Hope Center and Vista Dorado project. And she also got to sit in on the 2nd District Homeless Symposium. Our team was able to meet with her and spend some time with her and just get some wisdom imparted. She has a lot of experience working in the field. She was also a politician in Santa Barbara and was able to provide some really great perspective. We were just very blessed to have her and to be able to spend those couple of days with her. And she was extremely complimentary about the work that we're doing here, about our partners, the shelters, just everything. She was really just in awe of the work that we're doing here and really encouraged us to keep up the good fight. And so I did want to end on a positive note. And with that, my part is over. Thank you.
Okay. In the interest of time, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next agenda item, if that's okay with everybody, as I want to keep you too late. So, Lucy, you're up.
Hi, good afternoon. I'll try to be really quick. Can you go to the next slide, Julie, please? Okay, so it's just an overview, CS lead update for the month prior, January, announcement and updates. Next slide. So it's just our admin team that many of you know of, have familiar faces. Monique Rodriguez-Torres, our admin services manager, John Horn, a very well-deserved promotion from our admin service assistant to now supervisor, and then myself, Lucy, as the social service planner. Next slide. We do have 2 new office assistants, Victoria Martinez and Carissa Avila, as office assistants 2 and 3. I believe Victoria is not available, but Carissa, if you still happen to be on, please feel free to introduce yourselves. Happen to be on. Probably not. It is 5. She might be out for the day. Next slide. So for our January stats, there were 1,020 calls to Home Connect. A little over 1,000 members are on the queue, currently with over 100 exits facilitated in the month of January. These exits include exits such as rental by client with no ongoing subsidy, moving in with family or friends, and transitional housing. They also include those exits as a result of matching through the coordinated entry system. Next slide. So we are looking to facilitate best practice trainings as well as train the trainer trainings, where we train a representative from agencies in order to trickle down and facilitate internal trainings and answer basic CES related questions. We also collaborated with Housing Authority to facilitate quicker lease-ups for project-based vouchers and have a quicker turnaround time between the date of the referral being sent out from CES and the date a consumer has keys in hand. And the quickest move-in since we started this has been about 20 days from the day the referral has been sent out to the client moving into the unit. Next slide. We hold our monthly case conferencing meetings where caseworkers can case conference a client in which they're struggling to house due to multiple barriers. These caseworkers present their consumers' barriers to the different agencies on the call countywide to address and provide solutions to those specific barriers. We encourage any and all caseworkers to attend, whether it be the case conference, a client that has been on the community queue for a while, or caseworkers that may be eager to learn of any solutions to barriers that they themselves find to be struggling with their own client. Next slide. We are also facilitating monthly resource and training meetings during our Tuesday partnership. We have scheduled out until April currently and are always looking for agencies to come on and share the knowledge of their agency services to the over 100 county-wide partners on the call. Next slide. Lastly, we're always looking for feedback on the coordinated entry system as a whole and the CES lead update. So please feel free to reach out to provide any feedback, or if there's anyone interested in attending the biweekly partnership meetings. Our next one will be on I believe it's the 25th, this upcoming Tuesday at 9 a.m. We ask that you send myself or Home Connect an email expressing interest, and I will provide you with the needed confidentiality agreement to have you join us. Next slide. And that is all I have for you. I try to speed past that, apologies. But if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or our Home Connect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Next agenda item. Frank, are you on?
I don't believe he's on the call. I didn't see him in here.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and move on then. So let's see. The committee reports you can find in the Google Drive. This is super exciting. Look at this, you guys. 4 letters of support. Super excited to see that many. Keep them coming. We love to do everything we can to support you. No APRs for you to review this month. Go ahead and move to the next slide. Any agenda items you'd like to suggest for the next meeting? We can make a call for that now. Anybody? Going once? Going twice? You can always send an email to coc@rivco.org. So let's go ahead and move to the next agenda item. Anybody have any announcements? Okay. Next agenda item. Okay, we'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Good job, everybody. You guys are troopers. Sorry we are 5 minutes over, but it was time well spent. For those of you that were able to stay on, thank you so much to the whole team that helped to bring this together. Tanya and the whole team, thank you so much for the hard work. We appreciate you. Have a beautiful rest of your, well, it's now going to be evening, guys. Take care. We'll see you next month.
tomorrow at the BOG.
Yes, thank you, Emma. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Bye.